What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an all new episode of the DTI Takeover Show. For those of you who are just tuning in to Total Praise Radio, I am your host, Miss Kayla. I don't have the Total Praise background on here. No, I don't. I'm going to have to fix that. But as always, we have a lovely guest for you today. We are shining light on all of our entrepreneurs and business owners who are out here doing the thing, making a difference in the world. And so this young lady is no different. I have Dr. Michelle S. Thomas with us today. Dr. Michelle has a tour, a business tour coming up. We're going to get a little bit into that. But first, Dr. Michelle, tell the people who you are.
Thank you so much. And first of all, let me just tell you, it's an honor for me to be here today. This is amazing, an amazing opportunity, not only just for myself, but for all of the work and stuff that we are trying to do over here at the Exceptional Woman Enterprise. So, as you said, I am Dr. Michelle S. Thomas, your relationship surgeon. And what I do is I serve individuals and businesses by precisely pinpointing what is infecting their ability to achieve peace, prosperity, and profitability while placing them on a permanent path to success. So I love what I do. I am a global speaker, and
Okay.
I think now I'm at 8 or 9 times international best-selling author.
Okay.
Uh, I I do a lot, but my passion is always surrounded around helping people, especially for those of us women, to
Mhm.
help us within not only our personal lives, but to shore up our business operations so that we can become the powerhouses that we know that we're supposed to be. So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
do that via my speaking engagements. I do that via my books. My latest book is titled The Eight Qualities of the Exceptional Black Woman in Business and Entrepreneurship. Let me show you a copy. Hang on a second.
Go ahead. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
So this is a reference book. It's a reference book to give you all of the foundational and fundamental information that you need to know from every perspective of your business. I feel like that sometimes as women, we get passionate about our business and we understand the surface level of it. But if
Mhm.
you ever sat in that ownership seat, then there are things that are thrown at you that you aren't prepared for.
Yes.
For us women of color, most of us don't have the same access that a lot of our other women of non-color have, where there's a uncle that runs a Fortune 500 company or aunt that has been through all of these new sororities
Mhm.
and galas, and they're friends with the mayor or the kid they grew up with,
Right.
the president's kid. So most of us are first generation. And so during my little research, I tried to figure out what's the missing piece for us to get to our next level of success. And it's about that exposure. It's about that foundation, the fundamentals that we don't sit into normally. And that's what the Eight Qualities book is about. It's about taking all of my years of corporate knowledge and passing it on. So that's that. But then we're going to get into the summit, the business
Yes,
conference.
yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I do want to kind of pause there a little bit. Now, you call yourself the relationship surgeon.
Yes.
What makes you a relationship surgeon? That
So
means you doing some operating. You do
we
you
do some for
fixing
real
some
stuff around
things.
here, okay? My segments are always called Real Talk. So the reason that I call myself the relationship surgeon, I want you to put in perspective of doctors.
Right.
When you want to go get a checkup, when you want to go get a physical, when you just want to have some minor things taken care of, you go to your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
When you know that there's something very serious and precise that you need to be taken care of, you go see the surgeon. So within your professional and your personal relationship, we drill down to exactly what is infecting, not affecting, infecting your ability to reach the level and the success or the happiness that you desire to have. So as the surgeon, we don't do surface work.
Right. You go
We get to the
inside.
core,
Yeah.
we get all the way down to the core, and we remove it. We remove it so that you're not going to carry this on year after year after year with the baggage of what's holding you back. So that's my
Mm.
concept of search.
What are some common things that you see when you operate in? What are some common issues that you're seeing that people are holding in within them that's kind of holding them back?
Pain.
Mm.
Pain. And I'm always very clear that I want people to understand that even if you are a business owner or you are a business professional, if there is unresolved internal pain that you are struggling with,
Mhm.
it's going to pour over into your professional life. So where society wants us to think that our personal and our business life are two separate segments, you're still the same person. So
Mhm.
when I have people who come to me for business consulting or coaching, the first thing that we talk about is the person. Because you're your brand, you're your market, you are that position. Even if you work for someone else's company, if you are in a managerial role, that
Mhm.
is still you, the person. So pain is normally the number one issue that most people do not want to talk about
Mhm.
because, again, society has taught us that if we don't come out all shiny and perfect, then that means something's wrong with us. So my job is to get rid of all the myths. My job is to get you back to understanding how valuable and how great you are, personally and professionally, so
Mhm.
that now we can build upon all of your greatness. So pain is number one. Fear is another huge issue. Fear,
Guilty of all the above.
and most people think of fear as fear of failure. Um,
Mhm.
if you take a poll, you have more people that are afraid of success than they are of failure. Why? Because you've never seen it. You're afraid that, okay, people are going to talk about me. People are going to
Mhm.
say, oh, okay, so now you don't forget where you came from.
Mhm.
Okay, what does this success look like? I don't know how to operate within this field. Does that make me arrogant? Does that make, what does that mean? Especially when we're in familiar situations, because if there's one person in the family that is elevating faster than the remaining of the family, it causes fear of separation.
Mm. From now the person who's elevating or the separation like from the family. Like the family has a fear of that person elevating or the opposite.
Person who is elevating
Like who's
has
elevating
that
has a fear.
fear of losing their foundation.
Mm.
Fundamentally, no matter how we feel about our family, no matter what has happened within our familiar backgrounds, it's still familiar to us. And so you have people that will stand up there on stage or stand there in front of the camera and talk about how they don't care. I don't care. Don't nobody have to accept me. I'm this, I'm that. But internally, it's shaking your core. And so we have to talk about how do we handle that success? How do we go into a new level without losing who we really are? So pain, fear, and lack of is the biggest.
Lack of.
Lack of. Now, lack of is not just only a tangible source. People think of lack of funding, lack of
Mhm.
education. Lack of is confidence. Lack of is exposure. Lack of is anything in your past or your current situation that does not provide you with the full tools that you need to again reach your level of success. It could be lack of community. It
Mhm.
could be lack of socialization. Some of the most successful people are introverts,
Mhm.
and so we painted this picture that you got to be this big personality in order for you to be successful, and
Right.
that's absolutely not true. You can be yourself. You just have to learn how to supplement the items that are around you so that together with all of these tools and resources, you can elevate.
You can elevate. Oh wow. Now are these the gems you're gonna be dropping during this summit?
So let me tell you how the exceptional woman tool works. I've always known my whole life that you find a problem and then you create a solution for it. And
Mm-hmm.
so, myself having the luxury and the ability to be able to speak on global platforms and speak to millions and millions of people, the one thing that I found that was missing was during these conferences and these summits, we, especially when it's a motivational, inspirational one,
Mm-hmm.
we make people feel invincible for 1, 2, 3, or 4 days. We make you feel like that you can accomplish the world, that you can conquer anything, that your life is going to change, and on day number 4, life is going to switch or improve. But
Mm-hmm.
what happens on the following Tuesday?
Right. Right.
When you ain't watching this
You're
no
not
more, when
watching it. Right.
energy ain't coming, and the bills, you know, went to the mailbox and there's new bills and there's no
Yep.
problems, whatever.
We're back in reality.
We're back in reality. And so the plummet to that reality actually is harder than how you were feeling before you felt elevated. And so my solution to the problem is we are going to remain connected with our audience. So the Exceptional Woman Tour is a biannual event that happens every March, which celebrates Women History Month,
Mm-hmm.
and every August, which most people don't know is Black Business Month. So every
I
March,
know that. I know that.
every March, we are going to focus on the inner woman. It is a global platform that we bring women of all backgrounds, all ethnicities, all experiences together. There is no one that steps into the family of the Exceptional Woman Tour that is too small or too poor or
Mm-hmm.
too uneducated. None of that. When you walk into our realm, you understand that from birth, just from breathing, you are an exceptional woman. And so, what we do is we first focus on the inner woman. And we talk about a lot of things that most summits and conferences don't touch on. We talk about abuse, but not just physical abuse. We talk about self abuse. How
Mm-hmm.
now in this day in social media, there are a lot of people that spend most of the day scrolling through social media, and you see friends, family, stars, all these people with all these great things, and you're sitting in a
Right.
hole. So you begin to self abuse yourself because you feel like that you're not there. So we deal with that. We deal with the sexuality. This last March, I had two panels that was very vital that I thought was important because I want us to understand that we are only as strong as our next two future generations. So I want that to set in. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about what's happening right now. Our lifestyle, our economy, our future, our ancestry is only as strong as the next two generations behind us. And so we have to learn how to communicate and connect with them on their level. And so I had two panels where I had a one that was called Just Listen, and a
Okay.
panel of young ladies between the age of 16 and 19 that were talking about how it feels to be in that space,
Mm-hmm.
concerns, what are the breakdowns in communications that they're having with their mom, how do they feel, what's happening in school. The second panel, what I call the future leaders panel, and they were women between 20 and 25. Now that they've got past that high school stage, they're
Mm-hmm.
entering into young adulthood. We're trying to find jobs, we finished college, we're dating, all this other stuff, so they come with a
Right.
whole different level of concerns or
Right.
things they want to talk about, plus the fact of how you navigate that mother daughter relationship where you're no longer the
The
baby.
child. Yeah. Yeah.
And so we dealt with those things, and it was very powerful. So that's in March. So coming up this August, it's now time for us to focus in on the external portions of the woman, which is the finances, which is the business, which is the professional career, the growth and things. So this August coming up, we will have some of the most powerful keynote speakers and panelists that will talk to you about the 4 segments that I chose for this year for us to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be marketing. We're going to have some women that are going to teach you how to kind of wade through all of the noise, especially the stuff that's coming from social media
Mm-hmm.
about what you need to do with marketing. And we're going to give you the actual profit driven bottom line marketing tips and tools that you need to use. So people can stop spending money on things that aren't
No.
working.
Right.
So marketing, we're going to have one that's on leadership. We're going to talk about what it is to actually be a leader, whether it's your company or whether it's going to be in someone else's company, because we got to get those tools sharpened back up of how do you, especially when you don't feel well, how do you still lead your team in the confidence of knowing that y'all are going to be okay? So we're going to talk about those things. We're going to be very transparent about what we've experienced in our growth and setbacks and start overs, and how we were able to recover so that we can help that next woman who feels like that what she's going through, she's alone,
Right.
to know that she's not alone. Then we're going to focus on that finance piece. We're going to teach you how to build a profitable, a manageable, and a deliverable financial portfolio. The problem that happens with a lot of women and women business owners, we are the least lended to.
The least lended to?
Least lended to. We receive the least amount of lending, mainly for two reasons. One, we walk in the door unprepared. Two, lenders, banks, businesses have been taught to look at us as hobbyists instead of business leaders. So we got to change that mindset. The only way for us to change that mindset is we have to become more educated and more savvy with these numbers.
So they're not taking us seriously.
Yeah,
you just got a hobby. This isn't something that you're actually trying to make a living with.
Absolutely. Because on average, the average woman of color in her business, and she puts all of the hours and the efforts in, the average woman of color nets $24,000 a year, which is below the poverty line.
Right. Wow.
The average woman of non-color, she nets around $125,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
However, the average male business nets close to $1.2 million.
Does that matter, the color?
There's a slight variation when it comes to men of color. They usually hover around 70 to 80,000 because of their color. But a man is more apt to receive that support,
right,
and that lending, because ladies, whether we want to admit it or not, we the new kids on the block. The system that was built 400 years ago was never considered
right
to be a part of our lives.
Right.
We were considered to be at home with the kids, raise the kids, take care of the home.
Right.
So coming into this business machine, we now have to establish who we are. Now, as I talk through this, you will never see me talk about a woman's emotion. That tends to be the trigger that a lot of men like to throw at a woman, that she can't run a business because we're too emotional. So, have you ever been in a board meeting, in a group meeting, received an email from a male leader, manager, owner that ever apologized for how he talked?
No, ma'am.
So why do we?
It's a great question. Why do we really need to do that?
You weren't ready. You wasn't ready for the quiz, but no,
I wasn't. I didn't know.
That's what we have to. So we have to stop apologizing for being who we are. We are compassionate people. We do talk with our hands. We do feel, but that doesn't make us any less smart. That doesn't make us any less stronger. That doesn't make us any less successful because of our DNA. So we have to begin to stop even entertaining that backwater type of thinking.
Right.
Walk in the door, walk in our space, and own our space. Even in the corporate environment, there's a lot of women that scale that C-suite position and
Mm-hmm.
she becomes torn because she doesn't, if she sides with the women, then she may lose her place, because, or does she act more like a
Like a
man?
man, yep.
We have to debunk, and that's what we're here to do. We are here to empower you as the woman that you are. We are here to make sure that you can be comfortable in every aspect, and not just women of color. We look at what we go through, especially with our hair. Hats off to the Crown Act just passed. If y'all don't know what the Crown Act is, you need to Google that. Make
Yes,
sure that
ma'am.
you understand why that is essential to your growth as a woman of color. But
Mm-hmm.
Crown Act just passed. It had been on the table for years, but it just got passed. But there are also Jewish women, there are also Muslim women, there are also white women, there are also women who struggle in this space of trying to get to where her education, her knowledge, or her drive says that she should be, but she's
Mm-hmm.
held back from antiquated processes and thoughts about what a woman can do and will do. So the Exceptional Woman Tour, back to the solution. The Exceptional Woman Tour is not just there to provide women with all of the relatable and tangible tools and tips that she needs to have, but it's also there as a funnel and a powerhouse to go and make legislative change, to go and connect us globally, because
Mm-hmm.
there are some countries out there that women have been in power for hundreds of years,
Right.
but we don't communicate with them. We don't find out how
Nope.
this happened.
Mm-hmm.
We only focus on our backyard, so we got to do better than that. We got to learn more. We got to share more. We have to educate more, so that when we walk into the door, the lender doesn't automatically first look and go, "Oh, here's a woman, papers,
Right.
she got sticky notes everywhere. She don't even know what." She starts to cry. We got to get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
If you walk in the door, you own that space. And so the Exceptional Woman Tour is not only going to teach you that, but it's going to remain connected with our audience all year round, because we have a global learning platform that we shift our audience to, that they can continue to get the training, the webinars, the connection, the networking that you need to grow professionally and personally.
Absolutely. Dr. Michelle, how has your belief or your faith played an active role in where you are today to be able to be the relationship surgeon and to do the Exceptional Woman Business Summit?
So let me tell you about faith. That's all I had. There are so many times in segments in my life that I went up against the wall, the bulldozer, the sledgehammer, that I thought, I'm not going to make it through this.
Mm-hmm.
And all I had was, but God. I can't tell you how I made it. I can't tell you what. I just knew. I knew that there was a divinely appointed seed within me. That
Mm-hmm.
even though that people around me kept saying your dreams are too big, or you can't do this, or you're not educated enough, or you're not this, you can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I wanted to give up, even when I'm gonna be transparent. There was moments in my life I used to pray to God, please take all this away.
I believe that.
Just just take it away.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away, because I don't want to sit in this space. Like, my life is jacked up. How am I sitting up here trying to how am I sitting over here trying to help somebody?
I'm
And,
jacked up
and
too.
right, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just flow up and flow up. So how am I supposed to do this? And what I learned was, each time that I went through what I went through, and he gave me the voice and the strength to be able to do it, I realized it was because there's someone else out there that's in the same position that doesn't have that strength, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have that voice, that I can be able to be that vessel to say, come on, we can do this. And that's not just for women, that's for any human being. We have to get back to the humanity of each other. And the only way to do that is you got to anchor yourself to something.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what your bank account is, doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, doesn't matter none of this matters, the tangible stuff. Because if you don't have yourself anchored into something, because that car can be taken away, that house can burn down and go,
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
lose every family member and friends.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
at some point in your life, you got to figure out where the value is. And so I had to find value in me first, because I tried it the other way. I
Mhm.
tried to be the chameleon and the people pleaser and
Mhm.
do everything that everybody wanted me to do, but I felt empty. It wasn't until I fell down on them knees and I had in my office, I was working for a casino. I used to write on sticky notes,
Mhm.
bullet points of things that I wanted to focus my prayer on. Lord, these are the things I need you to fix. These are the things I need to help with. I cut out the noise of what everybody else wanted me to be,
Mhm.
and I had to figure out who I was supposed to be. And so now that I stand in this space, there's still the naysayers, there's still the problems, there's still the issues, the ups, the downs, but it doesn't shake me to my core because I know what my purpose is.
And you're anchored in it.
I'm anchored in it. So, and listen, y'all, what y'all learn about me is I am transparent about whatever. So I want to talk to that person who is sitting there right now and listening and saying, but she hadn't been through what I've been through.
Right.
But she don't know what I've been through. So here's
Right.
the story that I'm going to share with you, how I knew that I was ready to stand in this space. June 15, 2017. We have 7 kids. June 15, 2017, we lost one of our boys to a
Mm.
car accident. One morning I saw him, the next night he was gone. At that moment in time, I wanted to quit life. Job, listen, my bank account, my address, my
That
car,
none of that matter.
what
Right.
was in the closet, what was on the none of that. None of that had a value. I had to figure out how to survive. I had to figure out how not only for me to survive, but how to make that fork in the road for my family so that they too could make it through this tragic situation.
Mm.
And so I made a decision. I made a decision. I
Mhm.
lost the baby who wanted to be. Like he was the biggest personality in the world. He just knew he was going to be a star. He flashed a dimple at every little girl that was running around there. We didn't have no name. We was just known as Brian's family. Oh, you must be Brian's mama. This is you must be Brian. But we had no personality. And so here was a kid that never went to bed with any type of resentment. Never felt like that the world, no matter how much weight was around him, he didn't care because he knew his value and he knew what he was worth. While his mother sat over here on the side and was dwelling around in pettiness and what somebody didn't, they didn't like my hair or they didn't like the outfit. So I'm over here in this shallow space where
Mhm.
God gifted me to deliver a child that was deeper than me.
Mm.
So at that moment in time, I had to decide. He no longer had a voice. So get up and make this count. We only have one shot at this life. There's no do-overs. You can't wake up after you pass away and say, you know what?
And
Let
let's
me just try
start
this
over.
again.
Mhm.
It don't happen. So while you're on this space, if there's any advice that I can give anybody out there, no matter what your bill situation look like, no matter what your bank account looks like, no matter what your marital status looks like, no matter what your situation is, own the fact that you got one life. One. And what will you do with that? You don't have to stand on stage. You don't have to open up a business.
Mhm.
You don't have to do some grandiose thing to have impact. There's a kid that's 2 blocks down from your house right now that doesn't have a parental vision
Right.
or support system.
Right.
Go and have a conversation with that young man or that young woman. Stop writing off everybody. Stop discounting what's going through or what's happening with these kids. Become active in your life. And that's what I chose to do. I chose to become active in my life and make sure that when I leave this earth, that I have left him.
Yes, ma'am. That is beautiful. I thank you for sharing your story with us. Um, so before I let you go, can you once again tell people when the Exceptional Woman Summit is, how they can be a part of it as well?
So, the Exceptional Woman Tour Business Conference will be live in Atlanta, Georgia, at the America's Mart Center, which is connected to the Atlanta Convention Center. It
Okay.
is August 27th and August 28th. We're going to have keynote speakers, expert panelists, fireside chats with some of the most powerful women around the globe so that we can make sure that you walk out that door empowered, educated, and ready to go. Again, it's August 27th and 28th. The tickets are online. You can go to exceptionalwomantour.com and see our website. You can purchase your tickets there. We actually, and I'm going to announce it here.
Okay.
No one else has
Exclusive.
heard it.
Okay.
Look out for because we are going to offer a business grant to the women who are in attendance of the Exceptional Woman Tour because we walk our talk. I don't ever want nobody to feel like that. Okay, so you're standing on stage, you preaching all this, and you're talking about all this, and then you walk away and forget who we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how we roll in the Exceptional Woman. When you in the Exceptional Woman Tour, you're in the Exceptional Woman Tour. My DJ asked me, she said, "What's the feeling that you want to give the vibe when they walk in?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "I want that woman who just opened up a disconnect notice or feel like that she's about to lose her job. I want her to still get in the car because she purchased a ticket and come
Mm-hmm.
to the Exceptional Woman Tour. And when she walks in the door, she knows that she is going to make it. She knows now that she has a plan. So everyone, I encourage everyone, get your ticket, get in this room, in this space. Is the most profound and educated business conference that you'll ever attend where we don't have the fluff.
Mm-hmm.
We are giving you the real, and you're going to have tangible tools to walk away and implement on that day.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And now, how can people keep up with the relationship surgeon?
Oh, you can always find me on my website is michellesthomas.com, MICHELLE, the letter STHOMAS.com. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Your Relationship Surgeon. I love to hear stories. I, I listen, I'm here to help. I'm not one of those folks that I'm trying to figure out how to nickel and dime somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Email me at michelle@michellesthomas.com. Email me your questions. Are you stuck somewhere? Reach out. I am going to do everything I can to, if I don't have the answer, I will find the answer for you because ultimately my goal is to make sure that all of us reach whatever level of success that we choose, not what society tells us to be, but what we choose to feel
Mm-hmm.
like is our success. So, email, check me out on my social media, check me out on my website. You guys reach out, and if they can't find me, they'll reach out to you and you'll get
Yes,
them to
ma'am.
me.
I sure
I
will.
want to listen, I want to pack this room, okay?
Yes,
I want to
ma'am.
pack this conference because I need us to not only do this for external reasons, but I need you to understand how much you can do with a little bit of information.
Yes, ma'am. And we gonna share it. Once we end this live, it's gonna be on our social media so we can share as well. I'm going to be sending you over the flyer to promote your interview as well. So we can promote that as well. So we gonna get these people, we gonna get these ladies in this building.
Come on now.
We gonna do
Oh,
it.
listen. We are going to make sure that because in all seriousness, COVID shook us.
Yes.
It caught us by surprise. So
Yes.
many people had to close their doors. So many people are suffering. So many people lost family and friends,
Mhm.
and it set us back. And so, if you're not paying attention, let me drop you a little nugget. A recession, no matter how long it's going to be, is coming. And
Mm.
so you just come through, and some of you are just recovering from COVID.
Yep.
You don't want a recession to come and set you back. So come to the Exceptional Woman Tour so that you can recession proof, inflation proof your business and be able to make it through these economic cycles. Those are things that we don't talk about, especially within our community. We don't talk about what it is to be in an economic cycle. What do you need to be watching for when those peaks happen? And
Mm.
how do you navigate your hiring, your expansion, your product line when you're in these cycles?
Yes,
That's what
ma'am.
we're going to talk about.
Yes, ma'am. I'm excited for you. I cannot wait to hear good things from this tour. Make sure everybody that y'all continue to tune in to Total Praise Radio. Check out the website www.totalentradio.com. Hit the Total Praise button. And you can also go to Total Entertainment Radio if you want to hear some urban things as well. Your choice, however you feel at the moment. But keep rocking with us and make sure you definitely keep up with the relationship surgeon, Dr. Michelle S. Thomas, because she's out here and she's doing this thing and she's dropping gems that y'all need to listen to. Thank you once again for being a guest on the show. Until next time, you all, I am your host, Miss Kayla. We are out.